Hallelujah. Y'all continue to pray for us this morning. I'm going to talk to you a little bit. See there, I said a little bit. Everybody feels better now, right? But we want to give you what the Word of God says. For it is a real word, folks. It is a sure word. And as I was reading the study, you know, we've talked about it around here several times. Paul, writing to the Corinthians, told them that we could look at Israel for our examples. Because, you know, Israel had the same enemy we had. They also had the same God that we had. And so, as we look and we see their victories and their failures, we can take lessons from the things that they chose. And those things that brought them distress, we don't need to be following Ichabod's footsteps. But those things, you know, that they did, and the Lord worked with them through great power. Hey, folks, He doesn't love them any more than He loves you. So when you see what He did for them, folks say, He'll do that for me if I need that. Because He will. And, you know, New Year's starting, and I was reading this. Like it or not, we're going to face some new things this year. You can bet on it. But God hadn't changed. And His promises to us are eternal promises, folks. When God said it, He wasn't joking, He meant it. And as long as you're here, those promises cover you. And we can depend upon Him. But Israel had spent some 430 years down in Egypt. And the Lord, you know, He left them down in Egypt until they begin to cry out to Him. And folks, He will leave you right where you're at unless you're willing to move with His Spirit. And we can't get where we're going staying where we're at. You may be saved, but if you want the full joy of the Lord and the full joy of your salvation, you want to see Him working in your life, you've got to move when He moves. And stop when He stops. But they had been out, Israel had been out of Egypt for a couple of years, and they had come to the borders of the land that God had promised them. And Moses sent out some spies to kind of check out the land to see whether, you know, whether they were living in tents, whether they was in fortified cities, whether they were strong militarily, what the land looked like. And they came back with what they had saw. I want to understand one thing. Every one of those spies saw the same thing. But all of them didn't look at it the same way. Sometimes we get ourselves in problems when there really is no problem by just looking at it through negative eyes. If we look at it through the eyes of the Spirit and see what God was working in that thing, folks, I don't think we run into as many problems as we do. But now Israel, God had promised Abraham that He was going to give his seed that land. And I'm pretty sure that they had all heard that promise over the years. They passed these things down. They knew. But it's one thing to know the promise, and it's another thing to step into it. You can have the promise in your mind, but until you just say, well, that's mine, and I'm taking that because God gave it to me. Folks, the promise will just lay there waiting on you. It did with Israel. The land was there for them to have. But until they began to move into it, matter of fact, they wandered in the desert for 40 years because knowing the promise, they were not ready to move into the promise. It takes something. It takes the power of God working in you for you to move into what God said you could have, because you've got an enemy that's constantly telling you it won't work for you. Somebody ought to say amen there. If you don't, I do. How many times have I said, well, you know, this is what God said, And the enemy will say, it won't work for you. But God is no respecter of person. The Word works when we begin to work the Word in our own lives. See? And so we're coming into this new thing, this new year, just as they were coming into a new thing. And we want to look at them for our example. Are we ready to move into a new thing in this new year? Jesus doesn't change, but sometimes we have to. Amen. If we're going to reach what He's handed to us. Numbers, the 13th chapter. We're going to start at verse 25. Spies just went out, and they've come back to tell him what they found. I'm sorry, 27. We're going to start at 27. And they told him and said, we came into a land where thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. They brought him back some grapes. They said, you were right, it's a good land. It's flowing with milk and honey. You were right. Nevertheless, we get in trouble with them nevertheless, but nevertheless, the people be strong and dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there, the giants. The Amalekites dwell in the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. Now he had saw the same thing they all saw. So did Joshua. They saw it as impossible. He saw it as a victory. We can take it. What made him see it as a victory? Because God had said it was theirs. But the others looked at that. Now look at this next verse. But the men went up with him, said, we're not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. They're stronger than we are. We can't defeat them because they're stronger than we are. And they brought up an evil report out of the land which they served to the children of Israel, saying, the land which we have gone to see it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw are men of great stature. And there were the giants, the sons of Anak, which come out of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Said we looked at ourselves and we looked like grasshoppers. And we said we can't defeat them, and they looked at us and said they can't defeat us. Folks, the devil will make every situation in your life look like a situation that can't be fixed if you allow him to. This is an impossible thing. And the moment we begin to confess impossible, the devil has already won. The moment they begin to say we can't defeat them, they were already beaten. And the people of that land looked at them and, hey, do you know fear has a way of showing itself without saying anything? It said they looked at us and we were grasshoppers in their eyes. How'd they know? Because these people were looking at them the same way they were looking at themselves. And you know, we are talking. Y'all pray for me. Sometimes we allow the devil to put us down because we stand silent, afraid we cannot overcome him. It's not about us, it's about the God in us. Amen. Folks, the devil will beat your eyes out if you go up against him by yourself. Right. But the God in you is greater than anything that he's got, folks. We have to understand that. Amen. We have to understand that. But the moment he can make a situation impossible, the battle already belongs to him. We need to get out this in our mind. I don't care what the situation looks like. I don't care what the situation seems like, what the circumstances say or is saying. God is greater than that. And if you're there, He's there with you because He said He would never leave you nor forsake you. Amen. So it's not greater than God. Because we can't see the end of it does not mean that He can't. That's right. You ever been in a place where you say, I don't see how this is going to work. I can't see how this is going to work. Yes. And the devil said, well, it ain't going to work for you. But you keep praying and you keep standing and you keep believing. Amen. And when God works that thing out, you wonder why you ever worried. That's right. That's right. What was I afraid of? Let me tell you. Before we come into 2018, God was already here. Amen. And He already knew what we were going to be facing, and He already had your plan worked out. Amen. Our problem is we try to work out our own plan, don't we? How are we going to do this? What do we need to do about this? First thing we need to do is get God's word on our situation. Because we'll dig a hole deeper if we're not real careful. You know, we're in a hole, and what we do is just start digging. But God, when we allow God to do what God said He would do, He will. He will. Everything works by us believing what He said. Amen. Israel had the promise of the promised land, but they wanted it to be easy. And it didn't look easy. The giants was in there. And before, whatever promise God has given you, whatever you saw in here belongs to you. You can know this. Between you and that promise is the enemy trying to make you doubt that it belongs to you. He's there, folks. How I wish that we could get as zealed up as the enemy is. He knows he's got but a short time. Some of us sometimes live like we've got from now. Don't we? But Esther said, they're stronger than we are, we can't take them. But the way the devil looks at you and me has a lot to do with how we look at ourselves. It is. You know, I just don't know how I'm going to make it. And the devil's agreeing with me. I just don't know how you can make it. You know, I don't believe I don't believe I can pull myself through. I don't believe I can get through this. There's the devil said, I don't believe you can get through this. Now you got two agreeing on earth. When we begin to claim defeat, the devil will bring it by the truckloads, folks. He will bring it by the truckloads. And how does he know what we are feeling, and how does he know where we're at? We keep telling him. I'm just so weak. Just so weak. He's standing right there saying, yes, you are. But when we begin to say, I'm more than conquerors through Him that loved me and gave Himself for me. When we begin to declare that we're conquerors, the devil begins to look at us as conquerors. Now, he came to Jesus with trying to tempt Jesus, and Jesus beat his brains out with the word. And the Bible says He left him for a short season. You want to get the devil off your back? Start hammering him with your promises. Start telling him what Jesus said. Hey, he knows Jesus. He knows Him. The Bible says you believe that there's one God, you do as well. The devils also believe and tremble. Tremble. See, God gave us an armor, didn't He? Put on the whole armor of God. When we're walking in that armor, have you ever saw folks with armor on? You can't tell who they are. It's just armor. When we begin to walk every day in the armor of God, folks, when the devil sees you, he sees the God in you. Amen. He sees who your God is. Yes, sir. And it don't matter how strong physically you are, when he sees how strong your God is. it'll make a difference. It'll make a difference. Israel said they're bigger and stronger than us. And we know we could not defeat them. And because of that one backing up from the promise, on that one moment that said we can't, Israel wandered in the desert 40 years when their land was theirs right there. How long have we been wandering around the promises is right there? I'm talking to me now, y'all go on. Wandering around when the promises is right there. And they'll work. And they'll work. But all their trials, all their misery, all the death that they suffered for them 40 years starting when they defeated themselves by saying we can't. We can't. 40 years later, you got Joshua and Caleb that said we can. They're 40 years older. And you know what they're still saying? We can. Caleb said, give me that mountain, I'll take it. 40 years down the road. And you know what? They took it. The thing that was there for them all of the time, they took it. But looking at it, and I'm telling you folks, it was not a mirage. They were looking at some giants. And sometimes what looks like defeat to us has been arranged by God. And I'm not talking about throwing trials and stuff on you. I'm talking about things that we see. It's been arranged by God to show us how big He is in us. See, you don't understand how strong I am, child. Let me show you something. And He will. And He will. Sometimes the things that look like victories are not victories. When we get outside of the Spirit, when we get thinking for ourselves, this is the way we want it, and all of a sudden that's the way it is, and we say, wow. Why I'm blessed, and the blessed is not a blessing. I remember back before I retired, I was supervisor over a crew. Well, they came in, every company wants to make more money. So they came in there and they contracted the crew out to this guy. He had all Mexican workers, which put me out of a job. Well, they gave me a little post-man temporary thing, Now I'm over 60 already. And it looked just like, uh-oh, you might be looking for a job. Here you are, 61 years old. And the guy they contracted it out to stopped me on the road coming in, and he said, he called everybody there, called me Vern. He said, Vern, I want you to work for me. I'll give you a supervisor job. He said, I was training the folks that was under that he contracted. I was training them to take my job. He said, when they really get set up here, they won't have any use for you anymore. You'll have to be finding a job. And he offered me some pretty good money. But something in the Spirit said no. I'd already been seeing some stuff. Now, it looked pretty good. I ain't got to be looking for a job. But I turned him down. Well, it wasn't but about 2 months after that, he lost the contract, lost the crew. They gave me a raise and a brand new truck. What looked like victory was not my victory. Don't take what the devil shows you as your victory, folks, and settle for it. If God says no, just say no. Amen. Because He's already been in your tomorrow and He knows. And there's nothing too great for Him. Nothing too great for God. The storms come and the giants show up in our life. But hey folks, your promises don't change because the giants showed up. I told you about looking at different things, and it's how you look at it. And when David went out to face his giant, all of Israel saw that giant, and all of Israel was afraid. Here's David, a teenage kid. And he looked at that giant and he said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? That he would even dare defy the armies of the living God. His brothers even tried to put him down. They're looking at this guy, and here's a teenage boy saying, I'm taking. They called David haughty. We know you know your pride. We know. But David was walking on the promise, and God told him he's going to be king. And they said, he's too big. We can't hit him. David said, he's so big I can't miss him. Yes, sir. Looking at the same giant. The same giant. But regardless of how big the storm looks, there is a storm walker, a wind ceaser in the storm. There's a strength that can defeat every giant and every storm in your life. I told you a story when me and Alice first got married. She was terrified of storms. If the storm came up, she was all in pieces. But we found Jesus. And if the storm comes up, she goes to bed and sleeps. She likes the thunder. She likes the lightning. When she found out who it was that walked in the storm, her fear began to die. See? And there was a storm one time out on the Sea of Galilee. Look over at Mark, the 4th chapter. Mark 4. We'll start at verse 35. And the same day, when the evening was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. Folks, this is the word of God made flesh. He said, we're going to pass over. And when they had sent them away, the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there was also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind and waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on the pillow. And they awake him and said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? What he said is, why did you doubt what I told you? I said we were going to the other side. Now let me tell you, the storm was real, folks, and the Bible said it was a great storm. And there was water poured into the boat. The circumstances didn't look good. You know who paints the circumstances? Your enemy. The circumstances didn't look good, but Jesus, he didn't care a thing about what they were seeing. He's going to the other side, and he knew it when he lay down. He'd already spoken. He said, how is it that you did? They had told him the miracles he'd done. How is it that you have no faith? To them, this was the one that wasn't going to work. Like I was telling you a while ago, if the devil can convince you, I don't care. You can look back and see all the things that God has done, but this one's not going to work. You're not going to make it through this one. If he can convince you of that, folks, he's got you. He's got you defeated right there. But Jesus got up and just rebuked the storm, and the storm lay down. And then he turned to the disciples and said, Where's your faith? Folks, if they couldn't work it on his word, stop that storm, he would have had no idea. He would have had no reason to rebuke it. Because he said it, they could have stood on what he said, and the storm would have died. But they looked at the storm. They looked at the storm. And the storm was something that the disciples had not expected. But don't you know that when Jesus said, let's go to the other side, he knew there was going to be a storm. He knew the storm was coming. The disciples thought it was going to be easy to say because he said, let's go. But Jesus knew they were going right into a storm. But he knew the power of God too.
That's right.
He knew the storm was no match for it. Let's go to the other side. He could sleep. You can sleep in your storm when you know that God's got it. You can sleep in your storm when you know it's not bigger than God. You can sleep in your storm when you know he hasn't forgotten what he promised you. Folks, he hadn't forgotten. When we get looking at the circumstances, and we start backing up, don't we? It was a great storm. Just like the Israel saw a great giant. But it was no match for the power of God. But your enemy always wants you to believe the next one is the one that's impossible. The next one. Our children get out there, get on drugs, out there running wild, and he wants you to, he'll tell you they're not going to ever be saved. I can tell you from personal experience, he's lying.
Right. Hallelujah.
Marriages get a little shaky. The devil said, well, this is gone. There's nowhere to save it. He's lying. Our finances get slow. See? We don't know what we're going to do with the finances. He said, well, you're going up this job. Ain't no way you can ever get this paid up. He's lying. God owns the cattle of 1,000. And he's your father if you know him. Sickness comes. And the doctor says, well, we've done all that we can do. God works good under pressure. He does. He works good. I told you the story of my dad. The scaffold broke when he was a young man. He fell, I don't know how far it was, crushed both ankles. In those days, they didn't have the medical miracles that they have today. They told him, Mr. Lackey, sorry to tell you, you will never walk again. He said, oh, yeah, I will. Yes, I will. And I can't remember it. That was before I was born, but when I got here, he was walking. Not only walking, he worked in the logwoods and farmed. And lived to be 93 walking. See? More than the doctors could handle. But if he'd have believed the doctor's report, he would have been bedridden the rest of his life. Because he said, it's too deep for me. The doctor said, I can't do it. My mother, I told you that. I won't never forget it. You know, they just some things in life that just sticks. And I was a little red-headed boy, and she'd want me to go do something, you know, and I said, Mom, I can't do that. And she'd always tell me this, can't, never could do nothing. You can do it, go on. And I knew I'd better go on.
That's right.
And do what she said. We need to get that way with the Lord. Just go on and do what God said. Put it in God's hand and go on and do what he said. Because he's greater than any storm. And whatever's facing you, it hadn't surprised you. People say, well, you know, there's things that God can't do. No, he can't be surprised. He can't die. And he can't break his word. God can do this. No, God can't be surprised. He already knows. Before we cry out to him, he knows. He's waiting on us to make a stand. He's waiting on us to make a stand. Now, you know, Egypt came out of the promised land. Israel came out of the promised land and went down into Egypt to start with. Did God forget his promise because they did that?
No.
No, he didn't. He just waited. until they remembered the promise. And when they began to call out on him, he said, Moses. And you know what? Moses was a grown man. God had already saw before when Israel was coming back to him, and he raised up Moses for the leader and brought them out. When they remembered the promise. Do you remember your promises? Do you remember when he said, I will never leave you nor forsake thee? Do you remember when he said, speak to the mountain and it will move?
That's right.
Do you remember when the Bible declared by his stripes that we're healed?
Amen.
God had forgotten. We need to see this, folks. We need to see everything, even if it needs a physical answer. We need to stop seeing everything as a spiritual encounter. Because everything is.
Yes.
Everything is either working according to what your enemy wants it to work, or it's working according to God. And if it's not what God said, then understand and know it's the enemy and go to war.
That's right.
You know, the enemy's blurred the lines a lot today between who God is and who he is in people's minds. Yeah, you know, God, he made you sick just to teach you something. I thought that's the reason he sent the word.
That's right.
Was to teach us something. I thought that's the reason he sent the Spirit, to teach us something.
Yes.
But the devil wants you to believe that things that look like they are defeating you. He wants you to believe God sent him to teach you something.
No.
Look at the Bible and see if that's part of your promise. If it's not, God didn't send it.
Amen.
And God's bigger than it. And we are too through Jesus. But when we see it as a spiritual battle, folks, then we know that we have to war against it spiritually. See, it's the same way, with our children. It's the same way with anything. There is a spiritual component to it. Today, homosexuality has gone wild. People just embrace it right and left. It's the thing to do. And people get so, people get upset and mad. No, it's a spiritual thing, folks. The devil has convinced people they were born in a different way than God made them. No, they wasn't. They accepted another choice. See? But I'll be glad to have a church full. They won't leave here that way. Because, folks, God can make a change in them. God doesn't pet sin, God destroys sin. And I'm not mad at anybody that's out there in sin, but I am mad at the devil that burdened them with it, that chained them with it. And folks, it doesn't belong to them. It doesn't belong to them. But Israel was looking at a flesh giant. The disciples were looking at a physical stone. Both of them were backed by an enemy, trying to make them give up on faith, give up on God. Remember the story of the prophet Elijah?
Yes.
I haven't heard it a minute ago. The prophet Elijah, he'd done a lot of stuff. God had through him. God works some miracles through Elijah.
Yes, he has.
He went down and challenged the prophets of Baal. Remember that? Because he looked at those prophets and he understood, now they are servants of the devil and my God's bigger than that.
Amen.
And he went down there and just challenged them. We're going to both make a little offering. Whichever God answers by fire, let him be God. And y'all know the story. He went down there and challenged the prophets of Baal, and they came out, they cut themselves, and they danced, and they hollered, and Elijah mocked them.
Yes.
Maybe he's asleep, you ought to cry a little louder. Now that's the confidence in your God.
That's right.
Because he knew whichever one lost was going to die. He knew God wasn't going to lose. And the fire came down. Now I tell folks, Elijah didn't know nothing about that fire. He poured water on his home. He did. He soaked it down good. He didn't go get no kerosene. He soaked it with water. Elijah didn't know nothing about making a fire. But he knew about a God that could.
That's right.
He soaked it down, and the fire came from God, and he rose up and had him, kill the prophets of Baal. But then, Jezebel sent him word. He said, you'll be just like those prophets of Baal by this time tomorrow. Now it's his own government's turned against him. Now the faith that he had that God was going to light that fire and let him destroy those prophets is gone. It's a different situation. Now Jezebel said, I'm coming after you by tomorrow. And Elijah ran like a rabbit. The great Elijah was suddenly a whimpered, defeated prophet. Run out there, sit down, and we begin to tell the Lord, I'm not no better than my father. Just take me on. My time is through. Just take me on. I just want to die. Well, if he wanted to die, he would stay where he was.
That's right.
Because Jezebel was going to kill him. He should. But God didn't leave Elijah. God showed up with Elijah and began to strengthen him. He didn't go, set up Elisha in his place. God answered his prayer. God took him home. But he didn't die. He took him alive. The only two people that God has took in the Bible, both of them were alive.
That's right.
Let that be a lesson to us. Death took a bunch through sin. But the only two God took was alive. But Elijah, who had did these great things through God, let Jezebel scare him. But God didn't allow his defeat to happen. God came down again and said, what are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing? And I'm going to tell you, when the Lord begins to speak to you and asks you stuff, don't get cute because you don't know. Because he knew you didn't know before he started. When God starts talking to you, just listen. Just listen. He knows. He knows he's trying to do something. He's trying to do something. So in this 2018, folks, let me just say this in closing. We're in a new year. Do you want to be someplace else by the time next year gets here if the Lord tarries? And I'm not talking about going from here. I'm talking about someplace else in the Lord. Do you want to have the power of His Spirit working in you in a greater way? We can. Do you want to walk in victory every day? You can. How many will stand up and say, Lord, use me in 18?
Amen.
Will we? Will we stand up and say, Lord, use me in 18? I